This is Skywatch Media News for the last week of the year, 2017. As we approach the end of another year, let's recap what we know about Planet X, what it means for us here on Earth, and what connections there may be that play a role in the end times prophecies. Some of you are familiar with this information, but for those who are visiting this channel for the first time, or who are inspired to further learn about Nibiru and its passage through our solar system, then this information may be very helpful to you. In the year 2014, a great resurgence of the Nibiru theory emerged, following the publication of new scientific studies claiming evidence of an unnamed planet lurking beyond Pluto. The scientific information was based on observations of gravitational influences on a group of heavenly bodies called extreme trans-Neptunian objects, which were orbiting the Sun beyond the planet Neptune. The information confirms the belief that something large is perturbing the orbits of other solar system planets, and that NASA is aware of this. As the mysterious planet Nibiru approaches the Earth from the far reaches of the solar system, it transmits waves of charged plasma energy particles throughout the solar system. The incoming flow of energy then disrupts the flow of the Earth's core and triggers major changes in the world's climate. If you're an astute interpreter of biblical scripture, then you know that prophecy describes a terrifying presence that will come upon the earth, notably absent a precise time frame for what that presence may actually be and when it will arrive. There is something strikingly similar between what scripture describes will take place during the time of tribulation and what the scientific community is reporting today. The numbers of seismic and volcanic events, strange weather patterns, and natural disasters have steadily increased as records indicate, and as Scripture forewarned would come to pass. A number of government and religious institutions are well aware of these prolific changes that are happening around the world today, including NASA, the Pentagon, the CIA, and the Vatican. Their sole mission has but one purpose: to keep the public in the dark about what is approaching. A comprehensive report submitted to the White House describes the devastating effects created by the passage of a large rogue planet, one that fits perfectly the description of Nibiru, the planet of the crossing. According to a research study titled Extreme Trans-Neptunian Objects and the Kozai Mechanism, which signals the presence of trans-Plutonian planets, which was published in June of 2014 in the journal Monthly Notices of the Royal Astronomical Society, there are at least 2 planets that are part of the solar system, larger than Earth, lurking out there beyond Pluto, and whose binary presence can be detected through their gravitational influences. In the early 1990s, NASA presumably abandoned the search for Planet X by asserting the proclamation that the Voyager 2 space probe indicated that the mysterious planet did not exist, because measurements taken by the probe indicated that the irregularities in the orbits of Uranus and Neptune were due to overestimation of the mass of Neptune, which theorists now believe to be a deliberate cover-up by the space agency. Scientific research suggests that something is present in or near our solar system, is likely 10 times as massive as Earth, and is about 250 astronomical units, the distance from the Earth to the Sun, which would place it just about 23 billion miles from Earth. Those were the estimates that were conducted quite some time ago, which means that the object would have traveled a considerable distance over time, which could then explain why we are now feeling the effects of its presence today as it draws closer to us. According to Zecharia Sitchin, who for decades investigated and studied the Nibiru theory before his death in 2010, had said that ancient Babylonian cosmology indicated that the planet Nibiru, or Marduk, as it was called, struck a planet called Tiamat, smashing half of the planet into pieces, which then became what is known as the asteroid belt. The second half of the planet was then struck by one of Marduk's moons, which pushed it into a new orbit, which became the planet Earth. This great event was said to have happened some 4.5 billion years ago. Sitchin believed that this theory explains how the Earth's continents were divided and would also explain why the Earth is layered in sediments. There is evidence of this great cataclysm in our solar system today. The stars, as they approach the Earth's atmosphere, can actually cause significant changes in magnetic activity. The appearance of a brown dwarf star with an orbital cycle of 3,600 years is clearly discussed in ancient Sumerian cylinder seals and in documents. If you study scriptural text and investigate the inscriptions and ancient artifacts that describe in great detail the approach of a celestial presence, then you must conclude that NASA and similar government agencies are being less than forthcoming on its existence. Not that long ago, there was an area in space that was censored by NASA. An area of great interest that apparently was hidden from public view for reasons that only NASA can explain, but have yet to acknowledge. It would seem from everything that is happening today that the Earth is heading for a great event that is literally out of this world, something inconceivable to present-day humanity. There are memories of this day in our subconscious, of past events, and in the records of ancient peoples. They all imply the same thing. What is coming is the cause of many eras from our past. The lost civilization of Atlantis and Lemuria, among others, and the stories of universal floods. If this were not something of great importance, then why would NASA reproach its location in the sky? Ancient archives are indicating that Nibiru's orbital journey is one that will last 3,600 years. An extraordinary time in the Earth's history that would be considered in theological terms as happening in the blink of an eye. As you can imagine, a sizable planet moving close to the inner solar system would spell big trouble for the world. You then must ask yourself, why is Earth behaving so strangely these days? The fury of unrest is unlike anything we have witnessed in our time. Furthermore, the blending of our seasons would indicate that the Earth is slowing down. If you open your mind to what is happening, then you will know the truth. With the recent discovery of so many new worlds in our universe that were unthinkable just a few years ago, then the theory of roving planets that visit our neighborhood every few thousand years is one that could very well become the greatest secret of our generation. 2018 is expected to be a pronounced year for seismic and volcanic activity, as well as climate-related events, even as this year goes out with a bang. Yet another extreme weather event occurred on Christmas Day as more than 4 feet of snow fell on Erie, Pennsylvania in one 24-hour period. This shattered the city's calendar day snowfall record for December 25th. The snow continued through December 26th, bringing the 2-day total to an incredible 56.5 inches. This prolific event shattered all previous multi-day snowfall records in Erie, dating back to 1893. This according to the National Weather Service office in Cleveland. Erie picked up more snow in less than 36 hours in this event than their previous 13-day snowstorm record. The 92 inches of snow so far in December is the city's snowiest a single month on record, crushing the previous record of 66.9 inches in December of 1989. The accumulation of this much snow in a short time period is something that longtime residents have never witnessed before. Events like these continue happening as the Earth encounters dramatic changes. Here is an image composite of this amazing snowstorm. Meanwhile, in Brisbane, Australia, gigantic hailstones rained down on residents on December 26th, when a severe weather system swept through the area. Hailstorm frequency is increasing worldwide as climate change continues to worsen. Shortly before Christmas, the Philippines suffered devastating losses after tropical cyclone Timbin swept across the region, causing immense flash flooding and mudslides. This storm came on the heels of tropical storm Katok, which hit the region in mid-December. Indonesia's Mount Sinabung erupted on December 27th, as seen in this video from World of Signs, leaving a thick cloud of smoke and ash over parts of the country's North Sumatra province. A thick rain of ash fell on villages east of the volcano. Mount Sinabung has caused the island to be on alert since September of 2013, when it first erupted. Its previous explosions have been fatal, including one in May of 2016. On December 20th, a powerful eruption of the Bezymianny volcano on Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula created the strongest ash eruption of this region for 2017. These images indicate just how terrifying this particular eruption must have been for those living here. Many people flooded the social media pages on December 22nd, when this object was seen streaking across the western sunset in California. Some thought they were witnessing a huge UFO in the sky, while others thought it to be a miraculous sign from the heavens. What was actually seen by thousands of people that evening, according to numerous reports, was the launch of a rocket named SpaceX Falcon 9, which is delivering Iridium satellites into orbit. As the sun set over the Pacific, many spectators filmed this dazzling scene, in what can be considered a rare spectacle in the sky. Have a look. Southern California was not the only location to witness an unusual spectacle in the sky prior to Christmas. Not far away in Yuma, Arizona, a strange weather-like cloud fell from the sky while harboring parts of a circular rainbow, a phenomenon that is baffling and highly unusual. On December 8th, a 5.9 earthquake struck near Raoul Island in the Kermatics, New Zealand. A few hours after the seismic event, tsunami waves reaching up to 1 meter were measured at the GeoNet's Raoul Island pressure gauges. Scientists were stunned. Normally, tsunami waves aren't expected after earthquakes of this magnitude. Since then, the cause of the seismic waves and the tsunami have not been determined, as first results indicate the event is unlikely to have been the result of movement on a tectonic fault or an underwater landslide. The following map shows the apparent sources of these seismic waves, shown here as the green star, and the surrounding pressure gauges that recorded the tsunami waves, as shown by the colored triangles. The tsunami waves were first recorded by the Raoul pressure gauges 2 to 3 hours after the magnitude 5.9 earthquake. They were also recorded at various points around the North Island, as indicated in these gauges. The event remains a mystery, but scientists have introduced possible indicators, including a geothermal explosion, a sudden upward movement on a circular fault, or an undetected underwater volcano eruption. A series of theories, but no definitive answers to explain this particular ocean phenomenon. Here is something of significant importance when determining the frequency and the intensity of earthquake activity in these latter days. Between September and November of this year, in a span of 3 months, Mexico was hit by 13,000 earthquakes of magnitude between 1.2 and 8.2, as reported by the National Seismic Service of Mexico. 5,700 of those quakes happened in the month of September alone. 2 of those quakes were deadly, happening on September 7th and on September 19th, causing extensive damage in the range of $2.5 billion. Remember this: it is not always the magnitude of a quake that is of the greatest concern, but rather the frequency of these events over a period of time. As the activity increases, the likelihood of a catastrophic sequence of events becomes even more of a concern than its intensity. So keep that in mind as you look for the signs of change. It has been a year of many changes. The great signs in the heavens are being manifest, and they will guide us through rougher times ahead. The earth is slowing down. The topography and the landscape are forever changing, and the world's climate is crossing a dangerous threshold which is certain to affect all life on Earth. Whether we want them or not, the new year will bring new challenges and a special awareness of the trials that will confront us as we enter into a new era, an era in which our spirits shall be renewed. And so we must look to the sky for all things meaningful and fulfilling. For it is from here that all shall be revealed, and by which all shall come to pass.